Okay, so we're going to review how to comp properties. Let me go ahead and share my presentation. And this is important because most of our strategies, we need to understand what the after repair value is of a home. The current value, it doesn't matter as much unless you're buying a turnkey home. Then you would want to know the current value, of course, because it's renovated and you're buying it at that condition and its value. If you're buying a property that you're going to be flipping or doing the burr process on, excuse me, then you certainly want to purchase it at a great price, but you want to purchase it at a great price relative to the ARV. Gosh, relative to the ARV after repair value and the amount of work needed. So let's go through some of the guidelines I have on comping. Whenever you're comping, you're going to want to review the past 6 months sold properties. If you go any further past that, real estate does move slow. So that's why you can use 6 months. But if you go outside of that, you may not get the most accurate data. Um, the way that you want to do it geographically is you want to take properties that sold within the same neighborhood. Those are going to be the most reliable. If there aren't that many or they don't fit the bill of the current property you're looking at, your subject property, then we go a little bit larger to the zip code. And if that does not yield the results that you need as far as property type and within the last 90 days to 6 months, then we go to the city. This is most applicable in smaller areas, but that's kind of the route that we go. That's the same type of strategy appraisers would use. So then we want to make sure that they're similar square footage, plus or minus about 15%. You could go up to 20%, but a bigger change than that percentage is just going to be getting you basically a different property. And not something that's fully comparable. Something else is the age. So you want to get a property within a 10-year span. So 5 years up from your subject property and 5 years down is a good range. Outside of that range, then you're going to start adding or subtracting $1,500 a year. So if a property was from 1980, but you have a property from 1995, then you would subtract $1,500 for those 5 years, because in 1980 we can go up 5 years to 1985, but once we go to 1990, then we're going to have 5 years spread that we need to subtract because it's newer. So we'll subtract from the value of our subject property, which is the 1980. Same thing if you go backwards to 1970, right? So we're at 1980. You can go down to 1975 without a change. But once you hit 1970, then you're going to need to add $1,500 per year for your subject property that was built in 1980. We aren't comping 10-year differences in the sense of sold, of course. We're doing 6 months, but the year built. Then we want to make sure we're doing similar bedroom and bathroom combinations. A 2-1 should not be comped with a 3-2. And honestly, a 3-2 should not be comped with a 3-1, although that is certainly better than doing the 3-2 and the 2-1. At least the 3-2 and the 3-1 have the same amount of bedrooms. It's just a different number of bathrooms, and you can make an adjustment for that, but it still does not have the same value at the end of the day. Even the adjustment, there's no like hard and fast adjustment. It could be $15,000 in some areas. It could be $30,000 in some areas. So that's why I don't have a number on here, because it's not consistent across the board in different neighborhoods and different towns and cities. So we want to make sure we have the same bedroom and bath combination as much as possible. And then garages. So if your property does not have a garage, and you comp it with a property that does have a 1-car garage, okay, Then for your subject property, you would subtract $10,000 when basically we'll run through this, but you would subtract $10,000 from the value of the comp property because it does have a one car garage and your property does not. So you'll bring $10,000 off of this price to make it equal, as if you're making that garage vanish. Same thing for a 2-car garage. And then if you have a property that you're comping that does not have a garage, but yours has a 2-car garage, you'll add $20,000 to your subject property to account for it having a garage. And then pools, anywhere minimum 60K, addition or subtraction up to 75, but really, I mean, some pools can be worth even more, just depending on how luxurious, how large they are, their ages, things like that. So we don't often come into play with pools on the investments we're looking at. If we're doing luxury Airbnbs or even just luxury primary residences, then we might be looking at pools, but usually those don't apply for the fix and flips or the burrs or the buy and holds that we're looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and run through one with you guys. And let's see. Okay. So I have this one pulled up. This is a 3-2 in Fayetteville, North Carolina. This one needs work. So again, like I said in the beginning, we're not looking at, okay, how much is this valued at with how much work it needs. We're going to work backwards to find out how much we should pay for this property. So we're going to look at properties that are already completed, that have already been sold, that are 3-2s in this area. And then we are going to kind of work backwards. We're going to just see how much is this property worth, how much is the 75% rule or 70% rule, and then what would we need to buy it at essentially to make money. So we have this one right here. I'll just write it down. 307 Code Street, Cute Street. Zip code 28306 is a 3-2 at 1295 square feet. Built in 1940. We could put asking is 42 per square foot because we're going to be going off of square feet for these single families. All right, so the way I do it is I'll look on the map, excuse me, to see relatively where it is in Fayetteville. Okay, so we're south of downtown, off of this kind of major, streets forking area. So let's go to Zillow. That's what I usually use. And I usually only like it for the sold comps. I'm looking over here because I have my other screen. We're going to go deselect houses, bed and baths 3, use exact match. Again, we want it to be the same. Bathrooms, we'll put 2+, and then more. When you hit more, you're going to do sold in last. I like to start with 90 days and then we go up to 6 months. So there's 90 days. We're going to remove we can just keep it. Okay, so if you remember, we're looking over here, Fayetteville, right? Here's kind of that split interchange. Let's go back to see. Okay, Lakedale, boom. Okay, so there's one in the Lakedale neighborhood that is a 3-2 sold. It doesn't look like it was incredibly nicely updated, but the interior was new floors. They probably kept the same cabinets, put new countertops, kept the same ceiling and light fixtures. So this was a solid flip in that they didn't spend a whole lot of money, but yeah, you can tell, right? and our flip will probably redo the bathroom, whereas this one is nice and yellow from the 80s or earlier, right? So closets. So this one did sell at $80,000. It's for rent. So let's see. Okay, that's probably what happened. This is something that you'll need to that you'll just get with experience. You'll get with practice. So this one was sold at 80,000, but now they're renting it, which means the flip wasn't sold. What ended up happening most likely was that what happened was this person probably bought it at 80, fixed it up. Now it's worth more. They may be doing a burr on it because they're renting it out, right? You see if they're renting it out. So this isn't a great one to comp. Let's see what this one has. I mean, 225. This one's going to be nicer because it's brick. It's a little larger in square footage. So let's take our 12. Let's take our 1295 plus 15%, 1489. Okay, this would fit. So take this one, 2429 Moody is 1419 square feet. I'm telling you what I'm writing down. And then it was sold at 222,500. So that is sold at, let's see. They'll tell us. You can do the math on it, but 157 a square foot. Oh, we actually need to adjust the price. So right now I have the address down, I have the square footage, and I have the price as sold. But our subject property, let's go back to pictures. I do not believe it has a garage. Does not look like it. Looks like it's just the property, right? So this property does have a 1-car garage. Maybe it's a 2-car garage. Let me double check. That's a weird size garage door. To be safe, we'll put that it has a 2-car garage. Although it looks like a 1.5. All right. But because it has the sheds and everything and it's brick, it's a little bit nicer. So we're gonna subtract $20,000 from this subject property. Just for the garage. And then what year was it built? Home details. Let's see, facts and figures. Oof. This one was built in 2011, so this isn't a good comp. Cancel that. We're not doing that one. Okay, here's a 3-2. Okay, cool. They've redone it. Let's see what year it was built. Because ours was built in 1940. That's important to note. 1970. Goodness gracious, that's going to be a big change. And the years is more so to kind of like protect you on your comping. Appraisers don't always take it so intensely, that 1,500 a year, because 1,500 times 30, or let's just do 1,500 times 25. It's 37,500. So they could subtract that much, they could not. So we're going to move on to this next one, giving you an example on. So 702 Veta Street, 28306, sold for 162K, and it is 952 square feet. Do we have anything that we need to adjust? No, it doesn't look like there's a garage, pool. The only adjustment we need to make is for the years. So it's a 1970 home. That means we need to subtract 37,500 from its value to equate to where we are on our subject property that was built in 1940. So we'll do 162. Okay, so that's 124.5. And 124.5 divided by 952 square feet of the property is 130 a square foot. 130.78. So we can apply this to our subject property, right? This one. And we can get 130.78 times 1295, and we'll get 169,360. 169,360. So that would give us effectively our ARV for our subject property. Now that was only one comp. I'll show you how to do another, because you'd like them to be somewhat in the same range, right? So I just picked this one over here. Let's see if there's any more around here. No, we'll go this one. Here's a 3.2. It's a little bit above, a little bit above the square footage. Let's see if that's 20% above. 1,479 minus 20%. Okay, so how about minus 15%? Oh, that works. Okay, yeah, because 1479, that is this square footage, minus 15% is 1257. Our property, subject property, is 1295. So this should work. Let's see what year it was built. It's way too new. 1964, great. We're only 24 years off. So for this property, it looks like it is like well done, right? Doesn't, yeah, that's just a shed, not a garage. Don't see a garage here. It's a carport. It's not a garage. All right, so then we have 2519 Bel Air, 283606. Gosh. Okay, just so I know zip code. Sold at 175K, right? However, it was built in 1964. So ours was built in 1940. We'll go up 5 years, 1945. Then we'll need to go up, what is that, 19 years? Let's see. 45 to 50 is 5. 50 to 60 is 10, 15. And then 60 to 64 is 4. So yeah, 19 years. So we'll do 19 times 1,500, which is 28,500. We'll subtract from this property's 175. So 28,500 will bring the property down to 175. 46,500. 146,500. Okay. So at how many square feet is this? 1479. So we'll divide 146,500 by 1479, the square footage. 1479. That brings us to $99 a square foot. 99.05. 99.05. So in that case, we will multiply the 99.05 by our subject properties square footage of 1295 times 1295. And that puts us at 128, 274. Now, there is no hard and fast rule of this is going to be your ARV no matter what. Market is subjective. First, it needs to be in the range that makes sense for that area. Second, you don't know for sure what your personal property's value is going to be because there's a range, right? We just did one. The second one we did put our property value at 128,274. The first comp that we did put our property valued at about 270. Quite a big range. So in this case, what I would do is go here because we're still searching on only 90 days. So I'm going to go 6 months. So we go to 6 months here and we'll look back in the area. So there aren't any additional ones right there. That's a newer home. Can look at these. Here's this one. Let's see when it was built. 1989. It's a little too new for us. When was this one built? 1965. Okay. Yeah, we can do this one right here. So this one was built in 1965. It's 2551 Sycamore Street. 28306. The year built is 1965, right? And the square footage is where are we at? 1907, which is high. It's probably too high. That's not going to work on this comp. This one won't work because it hasn't been redone. Let's see, new home, new home, new home, older home, new home, new home, new home. So, I mean, in this case, you would just kind of go further and further out, which isn't necessarily ideal. Sometimes homes are hard to comp. Here's one over here. It's been redone. It was in 1969 and has a similar square footage. So like I said, you just go further out. So here we go. 2745 Coronado Parkway. It was sold for 162. Okay. Square footage is 1334 square feet. So what we do here is built in 1969. So our adjustment is going to need to be from where our property's at 1940. You go 1945 plus 20 years, right, is going to be 1965 plus 4. So 24 years. 24 times 1,500 is our difference, $36,000, which we will subtract from 162. 162. So that puts us at 126,000. 126K. And we divide that by our square footage of this property, 1334, to get 94.45 square foot. So we take that 94.45 per square foot and multiply it by our subject property, which is the 1295. And we get an even lower number, 122,316. So now we have three numbers. You can keep looking here on Zillow and finding homes that are similar, that can bring you higher values. If you can find comps that match higher valuations for your properties, you or your broker can always give those to the appraiser to argue, or to your lender if the appraisal comes back, wonky. And so what we do is, comping again is not an exact formula, an exact situation, because it's going to be what are the interest rates at the time, what are the buyers qualifications, or the buyers kind of thresholds in purchasing, how nice is your property compared to the others on the market, things like that. So you definitely want to be conservative, but what I usually do is I get a high, I get a low, and then basically I get average. Okay, that way I know the values I should be looking at. On the low end, it's going to be 122. So I need to make sure that I kind of run my numbers and I do the project with in mind that 122,000 could be my my amount that my property is worth. Otherwise, my high end is going to be 169, almost 170. And let's do an average between the three, because these are the three that we did: 128, 274 plus 169, 360. And I'll divide that by 3. So my average turns out to be 139,983. And average is usually a good number to go off of. I wouldn't recommend going off your high number, because that could just be a home that someone really needed and really wanted, and they just went all in on that home. Or maybe there's something specific about that home's location or lot style or whatnot that's unique. That home may have an advantage over yours and a special situation that caused it to be so high. I mean, our second highest out of those three was 128. So to have a difference of just about $40,000, I would not base my ARV off of that high number, but you can use it in your averages because it was sold in that area. It didn't make sense. So what I would like to do with you all is wrap this up. This is going to be how to comp. If you have any questions, please let me know. We'll definitely need to practice together, practice on your own. And again, ask me any questions. This is something that just comes with time. I did it pretty smoothly, pretty quickly, but it's because I've been doing it forever. So get to know the rules. I'll pull them back up so you can, write them down and remember. Here we go. It's going to be yeah. You want to use the past 6 months sold. You could do 90 days to start and then go to 6 months. Don't go past 6 months. Use the same neighborhood, then zip code, then city. That way you're pulling kind of the most accurate data you can. Then you're going to do similar square footage, plus or minus 15% of your subject property. You can max out at 20%, but you don't want to overreach that. Then you're not comping a similar property. It's just too big or just too small in comparison. Similar age, plus or minus 5 years. You don't need to adjust for age difference. That's our range for a comparable property. But if you go above 5 years, you will subtract $1,500 per year from that comp property to help equate on your subject property. And if you go below those 5 years, then you're going to add $1,500 to those comp properties in order to, come up in value to the age difference to your subject property. Next, we're going to do same bedroom bathroom combinations. We're not going to comp a 3-2 on a 2-1, vice versa. Even a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom to a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom is a sticky situation, and I don't recommend it. We want to do as exact as possible. The differences on these home styles can be garages. You can do a home with no garage and a home with a garage, or vice versa. If you have, again, we subtract or add from our comp properties and to equate them to our subject property. So if a home does have a 1-car garage, that is our comp property, we will subtract $10,000 to match our property that is our subject property with no garage. Pools, same thing. So if you have any questions, let me know. Happy to help. And I hope you got some good value out of this and are able to comp properties now. Have a great day.